Hi everybody, today we're going to show you how to turn your Turtlebug Camper Stand into a bridge-friendly Turtlebug. And this is the DIY instructions, so y'all can do it immediately after you open it up and take it out of the bag. So the main challenges with putting a bridge hammock on a stand obviously are with the long suspensions they typically have. So if you want to use the suspensions, you're going to need a stand that spans at least 13 feet, just the pole. And if you're trying to set it up in your house, not many people have rooms that large to accommodate that. So what we did is we took the suspension off, we made an adapter. Total footprint is only 11'6", so now I feel like it's pretty easy for you guys to use your bridges inside. Another issue with bridge hammocks is the amount of stress they put on your ridge bars because of their hang angle is less than 30 degrees. And the flatter your suspensions get, the strain put on the ends, and then obviously the ridge pole is just insane. So you're dealing with two problems. You need it to hold more weight, and you typically need it to be longer, and together they just don't work. What you end up with is a great big giant monstrosity with like a 2-inch pole up here that's top heavy and blows over in the wind. So that's why we came up with the adapters to bypass all of that. So we're happy to announce that the adapters, this modification for the Turtlebug Camper, keeps the weight limit of the stand at 300 pounds with a bridge hammock. So we're super stoked about that. Originally, we thought we were going to have to lower the weight capacity of the stand for bridge hammocks because we were going to have to make it longer, but I'm glad with these adapters we were able to keep it, we're actually able to make it shorter. So that's a huge bonus. In this video, I'm going to show you how to rig up a Dutchwear Banyan and also a War Bonnet Ridge Runner. To start, you need your Turtlebug Camper Stand, a knife to open up your box, a pair of scissors to cut the cordage, the elastic cordage on your poles. If you're going to be using a Dutchwear Banyan, you're going to need 1 5/16 dowel from your hardware store. You're going to need a second dowel. I cut both of these at 44 inches long just because I'm going to use several different sizes of bridges on them. You're going to need to get some UHM WPE tree straps. You can get these from Dutchwear, I believe, or Hammock Gear sells them. Also, we have the little ones, but we won't have these longer ones. So for the Banyan, you're going to need 4 pieces of tree strap, 2 loops long. You're going to need 4 straps that are 32 inches long. You're going to need 2 carabiners. You're going to have to, you can actually use the elastic cord inside your stands because you're going to be shorting your stands if you want. You're going to need to make yourself 2 elastic loops, 1 little one and 1 bigger one. I'd say this little one's probably about 2-inch diameter, and this one's probably about 4-inch. Then the easiest thing would be probably just to go to your outdoor gear, your outdoor store, and go back to the archery section and have them cut you 2 pieces of arrow. It doesn't matter if it's aluminum or carbon fiber, about 15 inches long, and you'll want them to put a knock on each end for you. While you're also at your outdoor store and they're putting your knocks on your 15.5-inch pieces, you're going to need them to cut 4 4-inch long pieces. Now this is aluminum tent pole or aluminum arrow will work either.
Can outdoor stores do that?
Yeah, outdoor stores do that. They have people there that make arrows.
I did not know that.
Or if you want to, you can find some tent pole material, and if you have your own tubing cutters, just cut your own to length. Yeah, or a wooden dowel. Anything that's smooth. You don't want things with threads on it necessarily to rub on your cordage and your straps. And then I took a grinder, sander, and rounded the edge on my dowel so it wasn't abrasive. That's optional. It's just if you don't want it to rub on anything. Okay. For the War Bonnet Ridge Runner, you're going to need 2 dowel rods, 44 inches long. You're going to need 4 lengths of tree strap, 32 inches long, and you're going to need 6 carabiners.
Does it have to be a special carabiner?
No, any carabiner will work.
Okay.
And you're going to need 4 stoppers, and what these ones are tent pole or arrow material. You can go to your sporting goods store, and if they have an archery department, you could just go ahead and ask them to cut you 4 of these aluminum arrows, like 4 inches long, and that'll be good enough. If you don't want to do that, you can also use a dowel or anything that's smooth that's not going to wear on your straps.
Okay.
Whether you're using the Ridge Runner or the Banyan or any other bridge hammock, how you set up the stand is going to be the same regardless. And then when you're opening boxes with fabric inside, just always make sure your knife isn't any longer than your cardboard is thick, and you don't have to worry about cutting it.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. Okay, there are 4 legs in every bag. So what we're going to do is for the bridges, we're going to take the second segment down out, and I'll show you how to do that. So you know this is the top because the bottom segment has Yobo Gear logo and a rubber foot. So first thing we're going to do is pull this and pinch it. Then we're going to count 2 segments down, pull it, pinch it, and then you're going to let go of this.
And you're still pinching it.
Yeah, well, you don't have to, you can let it go.
Oh, okay.
And you know the top segment because it has the keyhole in it. So you want to hold on to that one, and the one you're removing has nothing. So we'll just set that over here. Now what you're wanting to do is just take and feed this back up through the pole. Gets hung up on the insert sometimes, so sometimes it helps to straighten it out. That looks nice and straight. And once you fish that through, we pull 10 inches, pinch it, and then we'll just tie an overhand knot in it. That'll be the easiest way. If you want to tie yourself a loop in it, you also can do that. That'll make attaching it a little easier to the hub. But just like so. And then you can put your stopper back on. And then you want to cut off your excess. Leave yourself a little bit so it doesn't suck back into through the knot. And then just make sure that you didn't pull too much out and this still collapses. And that's fine, you do that to all 4 legs. Okay, your ridge pole is going to come in 2 sections. You're going to want to remove the end section of the ridge pole that does not have the double inserts. So don't do anything with this pole. On this pole, one end has a hole in it, and we're going to leave that one so you can, if you wanted to purchase the sunshade, you'll still be able to use the sunshade. So you come down to this end and just pull it out and pinch it, pop that end off, and then let that go. And then let all the slack go. Still hold on to the end though. And then just pull up 10 inches, tie an overhand knot. And if you're just going to solely use it as a bridge stand, you can go ahead and cut this. If you're going to use it for a gathered end, or you're going to want to extend it again, you can just take this carabiner off and just tuck that back in the pole and hook your carabiner like that. So the same thing applies to your legs. If you're going to use a gathered end or want it to be higher off the ground later on, you don't have to cut it off. You can just tuck it back into the pole. It's just kind of awkward to work with that way sometimes, but if I'm going to use it solely as a bridge hammock stand, I'm going to cut them off. But it's up to you, you don't have to. But after you do that, take your stopper and stick it back on there, and you got more stuff in the way here, so it's a little more difficult. So we'll just hold the stopper and get everything shoved in there like so, and you're good to go. And then again, make sure that you didn't shorten it up too much and it all goes together good still. Good. So next thing we're going to do is the stabilizer pole. You know a stabilizer pole because it's the thinnest pole of your kit. There's two of them, and we're going to go ahead and assemble it. And what we're going to do is remove the second segment from the top. And we know it's the top because it doesn't have a foot on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull this and pinch it like that, remove that, pinch it, make sure I don't let go. And I'm going to go down two sections. I'm going to push that apart, and then I'm going to pinch it, hold onto it with my finger, and then I'll just hold on to all that so I don't drop it, and let it go. Then what I'm going to do is take the top piece, you know it's the top piece because it doesn't have an insert, and I'm going to slip that elastic cord back through it. Just like so. I'm going to hold on to the end, I'm going to relax it, and then I'm going to pull it up, I'm going to pinch it at about 10 inches and tie an overhand knot. Now if I'm going to continue to use it for gathered end, and I'm going to want to add that segment back in, I'm just going to leave this on there, and I'll just bend it over and tuck it in. It just makes it a little harder to deal with, but not terribly bad. So I'll do that, and right now I'll slip the stopper back on. It's a little more difficult this way. If I was just going to leave it and do nothing but bridge hammocks on it, I would just cut that extra cordage off. Just like so. Then check it, make sure I can still collapse it, make sure I didn't make it too short, and that's fine. And that's your stabilizer pole. Okay, next is the tarp poles. We have 2 tarp poles on each stand. So the thing about the bridge mod is we had to lower the stand 16 inches. So when we put a tarp on it, the headroom's only like 4'6". So what we can do, if you're handy, until we get our mod package up for sale, you can take that piece that you just took off the stabilizer and use it as a tarp pole extension. Just slip it in there. But in order to do that, you're going to have to measure up a 1/2 inch and drill yourself a 7mm hole. You can actually just use the tarp pole as a guide. So just set this one right up next to it like so. And you can just grab a marker or a pencil or a scribe and then just draw a line straight across center to center and then go ahead and drill your hole. If you do that, you'll be able to use a 12-foot tarp and you'll have 6'6" head clearance inside underneath your tarp. Okay, so once you got all your poles shortened, this is the final product. This is what it looks like all assembled. So this is what your tarp setup looks like with if you took your stabilizer leg segment and drilled yourself a hole in the bottom of it. You see you got 6'6". If you don't do that, then your tarp's going to be about this high, which is about 4'6". And this is a 12-foot tarp and it easily fits. If you were to just take the tarp extension and put it on, about the longest tarp you're going to be able to fit on it's an 11-foot tarp. Now let's get our hammock. I'm going to start with the Dutchwear Banyan. Okay, here's your Banyan. First thing we're going to do on the Banyan is remove the suspension, which is easy. It just unhooks right out of there. And then the other side, you'll unhook the suspension, but you're obviously going to have to leave it connected because the bug net cordage is attached to the suspension. So lay that out. So what you do...
This is your foot end, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start with the foot end. And as you can see, your spreader bar is lined up with these holes I drilled. So what I did is in the dowel, I drilled the hole slightly smaller than what this tubing was so that I could pound it in so it's not going to slide out. It's in there pretty tight. And then the spacing is the exact same as the spreader bar. And that way it takes all the stress off of actually takes all the stress off the hammock almost altogether. Okay, next step. You can use a continuous loop to do this, but we're going to use just these 2 little loops of tree strap. So you just slide it on the dowel up to there, do that on both ends. And then you're just going to hook it right in there. Okay, so your next step is to put on your tree straps in order to hook it onto the hammock stand. And for that, you're going to need 2 of your 32-inch tree straps and a carabiner. Okay, so do the same thing with these tree straps, just slip them right over the ends. like so. And then you have your mark in the center of your dowel, and that's going to help you find where you're going to put your carabiner. So on this side, I'm going to count up 6 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put my carabiner in, and I'll do the same over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's just a good starting place. Once you get your hammock hung, you can obviously shorten it or extend it. And then what I'll do is I'll pick that up and go ahead and clip it into the big hole in the hub. And then I'll do the same to the other end. So again, I lined up the dowels or the tent pole, whatever you use, I lined it up with the spreader bar so that you're not putting any strain on the spreader bar itself. And I just hook that just like the other end. Then go ahead and put your tree straps over the ends and do the same as you did on the foot. Then I have my middle mark, so I kind of know where I'm at. So I came up 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm in the 8th hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm in the 8th hole here. There you go. And once I do that, I'll go ahead and clip that into the hub. I'll stand back and look at it. Okay, so I'm at about a 30-degree hang angle and we need it to be 20. So I'm going to shorten up the foot and see where we're at then. And there I'm at about a 20-degree angle on both ends, and my head's a little lower. If I wanted, I can make my head a little higher. You can balance it out however you want. Next, I'm going to show how to hook up the bug net. The Banyan's by far probably the most difficult stand or the most difficult hammock you're gonna hook up. So let's start on the head end. So for the head end, you're going to want your your bigger elastic that you made, and you're going to take once you remove this from the suspension, you're just going to feed it above the pole. You're going to half your elastic cord and run it through both of those loops. Just like so. And then you just pull it tight and just hook it right over the hook on the hub like so.
Yay!
and do the same on the other end.
Those hooks are so handy.
So this end is quite a bit longer, and obviously this is where we had to leave the suspension hooked onto the onto the cords. So you just hook that on and hook that on just like so. Now it looks terrible. So this is where your little arrows that you got the knocks put on both ends comes into play. Just come over here. Slip it on, that holds it open. Do the same on the other side. Just like so. And that makes everything nice and taut. Okay. So, I bet you're wondering how stable it is, or if this bar gets in your way. So let's see. So here you are sitting in it. Actually, these are on me more than the bar. I mean, I can sit just fine, and it doesn't. I mean, you don't even notice the bar. So, is it tippy? Let's find out. Okay, so this ridge pole, I don't even notice. It's on the other side of the bug screen, and it's nowhere near my face. As you can see, I have plenty of, like, the perfect sit height between me and the ground, and if I wanted to quilt, plenty of room for the quilt. It's not I mean, it's a little more tippy than maybe between two trees, but it's nothing that you're not going to fall out of it. And it's really easy to center yourself and get comfortable, and it's still, you can still reach up the other end and grab your zipper and lay back down. I'll do that right now. But I can reach up there, no problem. Get all zipped in. Oh, heck, this is nice. Good job, Dutch.
Can you lay on your stomach or your side?
Yeah, so I'll switch over to my side. Now, this is nice for side sleeping. Try my stomach. It's actually nice stomach sleeping too. Huh, nice. So that's the Banyan Bridge. Next, we're going to show you the War Bonnet Ridge Runner. So this is a second-hand ridge runner that I have. So I believe I'm missing like one of the shock cords for the loop to stretch the bug net up. But besides that, everything should be easy. So same thing here. You just line up your stopper with the end of your spreader bar. Do that on both ends. Here I use polyester tree strap. If you do that, make sure you get the thick ones. Don't use those skinny ones, because there's a lot of strain on this and it could break. So I do suggest using the Dyneema, the UHM WPE straps. They're just way better, way stronger. So the setup for this one's easy. You just have a little loop here in your Dyneema, and I just put a carabiner in there.
What's the other end of the carabiner attached to?
And then I fed the other end of the carabiner through the loop on the tree strap.
Okay. Same thing over here. Same
thing over here. And I've already put this on the stand, so it ended up taking, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. So I'll hang the foot in. And same thing over here. Feed the carabiner through the loop. And I already had this hooked up, so I ended up going with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hooked it through the 7th loop. Just clip it right in. And however you want to, I don't know. I'll just get this bug net up out of the way for you. There you go. Okay, I don't have the loop for the foot in, so I'll just leave it. Zip it. All right. Get all zipped up in here. And then if I had the other bug screen thing, my bug screen would be up off of me. Pole's about 18 inches off of my face, so I don't even see it actually through the seam in the bug net. Heck, it's comfortable. Sleep on your side in here, I guess. Scoot around. This isn't bad for your belly either, for belly sleepers. But, okay. Yeah, I see why everybody likes these. These are nice. And then I'll show you the sit height. I'll get myself zipped out of here. There we go. So you sitting here just right. I mean, the pole's about almost just above my head, but I mean it's right where I normally sit, so I don't even notice it. I guess if I wanted to lean way back in my hammock, then you for sure don't notice it. So yeah, I was worried about this pole being so low, but honestly, it's not in the way at all. So it works out perfect. Yep, and you still got, it's like a perfect sit height. You still got plenty of room for a quilt underneath it. Yeah, I'd say the only things is you just swing back into place probably quicker with this on a stand than you do if it was between two trees. But I mean, I'm all the way to the edge of it, and it's not flopping or trying to tip me out or anything. And it self-corrects pretty, I mean, easily. So, and it's well balanced. So I don't see any issues with it. I think it's plenty comfortable. So the whole deal with these dowels is I just wanted something that you guys could build on your own, because obviously we will come out with our own version. It'll be nice and professionally done, aluminum, and be able to break down. But I wanted you guys to be able to hang your bridges as soon as you got your stands. It's what I came up with for y'all, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're happy with the solution and it works out good for you. We love our bridge hammock camping people as well. Can't leave them out. Very important. So So this is the Dutchwear side entry tarp. Hammock stands love side entries, obviously because of the legs. This just makes it a lot easier to enter and exit out of your hammocks. And I like them because you have such a nice view when you're laying in your hammock, and then all you have to do is zip it shut and you're protected from the weather. So the ridge length on the Dutchwear side entry tarp is 12 foot. So you can see this easily fits a 12-foot tarp. Head clearance is still 6'6". So I'm assuming, I think 13-foot tarp would be about 6-foot head clearance. So you still got a lot of room to walk around underneath your tarp. Also, what's cool about this, because the stand is lower, you can actually go to the ground with the tarp, so you can completely seal it off. You can bring it all the way down to the ground, which is pretty unique with a stand. As you can see, there's plenty of room in here. Like, I got a good, 3 inches above my head, 4 inches. And then the ends are even taller. If I wanted to like pull my ridges a little tighter, I could do that. Probably. There, that's a little space here. So those are your DIY instructions for making your Turtlebug Camper Stand bridge hammock friendly. Thank you for being here, and happy hammocking from Cal and Kristen at Yobo Gear.